So, one of the hardest things we work through in our lives is the feeling of loss. And it's something that we all have to go through. We all lose a person we love, we all lose a time of life, a feeling, an emotion, something that we wish we still had. And like anything, the more efficient we become at finding healthy and useful ways of actually interpreting those difficulties, the better we'll be afterwards and the more healthy we will be after having endured that. And the most useful way that I have learnt to interpret loss is to measure it as sacrifice rather than loss. Not use that word anymore, because sacrifice indicates more of an emphasis on a trade. It's I'm letting go of this thing in order to have this thing. And that as a dynamic becomes far more healthy than just presuming that when you lose something or when you lose someone, that you've just net negatived on your life. There are many positive sensations within ourselves that we cannot access unless we are willing to forego something. If you want to be someone who is kind and loving and empathetic, then you also need to be someone who is fragile in those tender moments. And you also need to be someone who is willing to be hurt in order to actually give that sense of forgiveness and kindness to someone else. If you want, on the other end of that, to be someone who is informed and is more capable within whatever field they are studying, you need to be someone who is also willing to actually comprehend their own ignorance. And that as a dynamic is something that I have found extremely important to actually understand within myself. And the more that I've done that, the less pain I've caused myself when thinking about changing times in my lives or going through just general difficulty. I'm a firm believer that with regards to challenges in our world, there are pains and there is suffering that we just can't avoid. And the most logical plan is just to find ways to actually make that less damaging, make that more of an opportunity to work through things. And I've long been an avid proponent of the pain and suffering constitutes opportunity, so long as we are willing to see it in that light. In the realms of being a kind person, oftentimes when you speak to someone who is a good soul, someone who you really see as a picture of purity on that, it's someone who's been damaged. And it's someone who has had to go through that themselves in order to be able to offer it to you. And that is some form of sacrifice or loss that they have made. They lost that kindness that someone didn't give them. And in turn, they have created and developed a product that they can maybe give you. When I realize that in front of me, as a result of pain or as a result of sacrifice, I have a new opportunity to have something that maybe I don't yet have, or to practice a good skill that I maybe haven't practiced for a period of time, that makes things a lot easier to deal with. In a life where we are sometimes condemned to have difficulty and have things that are going to make days hard and nights long, it's useful to be able to look on the optimistic side of things and see that amidst your sacrifice, amidst the things that you miss or you lose or you wish you didn't no longer have, there is an opportunity for you to create more desirable and more positive aspects within yourself. Loss is not just the negatives of loss, it is the opportunity that comes with sacrifice. And if you can come to condition yourself to see difficulty and loss as an opportunity for you to grow further and to become something that maybe you need to become, then that makes that pain a whole lot easier to deal with. You give people a tremendous amount of strength when you can work through your difficulties like that, when you can take that optimistic perspective of seeing your loss as something you had to forego in order to become something better. Given that we all have to work through this issue, these problems, when we see someone who can do it well and they can do it with the grace and maturity to realize that they'll come back stronger, they'll come back better, and things will be okay for them, that motivates other people to do the same thing. Your loss is inevitable. We all lose someone, something, or some time of which we wish we didn't lose. But when that happens to you, it's far more beneficial that you consider that a price to pay in order to have something better, in order to be something more. We have to face difficulty in our lives, but that doesn't mean that we have to suffer. And when it comes to constituting your loss as sacrifice, that's a very good way of healthily framing the difficulties in your world. See you in a bit.